everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta. Every Tuesday at noon, I have the pleasure of posting a fun little project for you. So I do encourage you, if you don't already follow my Lauren Scrapplot, to click that like and subscribe button, because then you'll be able to see all the future videos and the past ones that I have for you. I do really appreciate your comments and your feedback. So if you try this card and maybe you're using other materials or you just really like it or you want to see some new things, go ahead and shoot me a note. I love hearing from you and I love seeing those posts. So I really appreciate you tuning in today. I have a really fun diagonal fold card for you. So I've done this using two of our new in colors. I have Peach Pie and Summer Splash, but I also used one of our new suites from the annual catalog. So the suite that I chose to use today is Unbounded Beauty. You can find it on page 54 and 55 of the new annual catalog, or you can look all these things up on my website at laurenurbonis.stampitup.net. If you need a catalog and you don't have a demonstrator in Canada, again, shoot me a note. I'm happy to get you set up. So this is a massive suite here. We have the Flowers of Beauty bundle with the gorgeous stamps and coordinating dies, and the Unbounded Love stamp set with coordinating frame dies. So those we're using kind of in different pieces. On today's card, I'm using a sentiment and a little leaf from here, and then the suite that I'm going to show you a couple other ideas for at the end will give you a few ideas of how you can use this Flowers of Beauty set as well. So I'm not using the glimmer paper or the embellishments on this card, but they are really beautiful. And again, at the end of the video, I'll show you two cards that we made at my May monthly card class, which is a $15 class that you can participate in from anywhere in Canada. Shipping is $2, or it's always free with a $35 order. So for those of you who do shop after you watch these videos, you get little thank you gifts. So for every $35, or not for every, for a order over $35, I send you a little monthly card kit with a video that's exclusive for you to watch. And then you can also receive lots of fun little treats if your orders are over 100 or you get rewards over 200. So if you have any questions, let me know. But the paper is really what I want to highlight today. It's the Unbounded Beauty 12x12 Designer Series paper, and it uses all 5 of the new Stampin' Up! In colors with white to kind of balance it out. And you're welcome to mix and match colors as much as you want. I find any of them really could work with these projects, and you can just combine them with whatever cardstock base you have on hand too. So if you'd like to follow along with me, I'm going to give you all the measurements. They are also written in the description, and you can create this little fun diagonal card. So I'm going to do the Peach Pie version just because that's the cardstock I have on my table right now. But of course, I did show you one with Summer Splash, and you can recreate this just as easily with the other colors as well. So to begin, and I will warn you, we're going to make 2 cards kind of at the same time because that's just how this paper works. It's just much easier to maximize your time and do 2. So I've got a piece of Peach Pie cardstock. I will maybe turn it this way so you can see it. I have it cut at 8 inches by 11. So really it's almost a standard piece of cardstock. We've just trimmed a tiny bit off to make it 8 by 11. Now, I have my Stampin' Up! Trimmer in front of me. It has both a cutting blade and like a scoring blade on it. If you do not have a tool that has both of those, you might have to grab your scoring board first and then your cutting tool, because we're going to do both on this card. So first up, scoring. If you have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, the gray, the light gray, is your scoring tool, but we do really want to make sure you know what you're using. So just give it a touch on the very edge, touch, 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 not sharp, great. That's the one you need to do. It's going to just make some nice pressed lines on your card, and then we'll be good to go. So we've got our 8-inch line, or length. We're going to line it up to 4 inches. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. We're scoring this, not cutting, scoring right in half. Now we're going to turn it And you guessed it, we are doing a second cut line at 5.5. So 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. We're going to score that nice and gently. And then when you take this out, you should see 4 equal quadrants. That's the key, is 4 equal sections. If that's what you've got, you're good to go. Now, the tricky part here is cutting. So in the end, we need to be able to cut this diagonally from the top left to the bottom right, but your trimmer is not big enough for that. So here's the key. We're going to do most of the cutting with the trimmer, and then the last little bit of the cutting with our scissors, okay? So what I'm going to do is top left to bottom right. I'm going to line this up in my little track, okay? So you can see this track here is where the blade will go all the way down, and it's touching in the track here. So as long as my 2 tips are in that track, right where they should be, we should get a nice diagonal cut that we can finish off just with our scissors at the end, okay? So this is probably the most important cut. I'm just gonna lean my head into your space because I need to make sure it's straight. Now we're using the dark gray. That is our cutting tool. And we're going to cut down as far as it will go. It won't go past this little lump, so it's not gonna hit that edge piece, but we're gonna go as much as we can, maybe back and forth once or twice, just to make sure we've cut everything we can. So when I lift this up, you can see I have this beautiful cut line almost to here. Okay, so here's where you could either choose, you can move this up and you can cut the rest of this with your scoring tool. Sometimes I find that tricky because if you move even a millimeter, it just throws everything off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be brave, and I'm just gonna take a pair of scissors, and you can see there's a line already that I kind of just have to come up and meet. That's all I have to do. Meet that little line. I've cut into that space, and now I'm gonna move up again, one more, and cut into this space here. Okay, oh, just one, there we go. One little thing holding on. Come on. There we go. All right, these fell apart. Hopefully that wasn't too stressful, but we can always trim things at the end. Now your scoring board you're going to still need, so keep it handy. I'm just going to show you the other pieces that we need to have cut, okay? So we need a white piece for the inside. So here's how I did my cards. I have them facing this way, but of course, if you want to be daring, you can turn it around. You're just going to do the opposite of whatever I say from here on out, okay? So turning so that this nice fat corner is kind of facing towards your right-hand side, that's what I'm working on. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces of basic white to fit in that space. And remember, it's 2 pieces because we're making 2 cards. 1 piece per card, okay? So this piece is going to end up being cut by 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, okay? 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. 2 of those pieces, 1 for each card. Then we're going to cut 2 pieces of designer paper. They're going to be 2 different patterns. See, 2 different patterns. We need 2 pieces of designer paper that also measure 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And these 2 pieces are going to be enough for you to make your 2 cards, because we will use 1/2 of the purple for card number 1 and 1/2 of the orange. And then we'll switch and use the opposites for the second card, okay? Here's where you still need your trimmer because we need to cut these at a diagonal. So we're doing the same cut that we did on our large card, which is top left to bottom right, okay? You can do these one at a time, or if you're really brave, you can do them together. We'll see if this bites me, but I want them equal. So I'm gonna do them together. Your blade can go through that, no problem. Just go back and forth. Make sure it can pull out. Now you can put this board away. Don't need it anymore. And we're going to start attaching some of our pieces to the cards. Okay, so I'm going to move this up here, and I'm going to start with my card bases. Now, whenever I do stamping on the inside of my cards, I will be honest, I like doing that ahead of time, just in case I make a mistake, then I can easily flip the card over. So that's what I'm going to do at the moment. I'm going to do my stamping because if there's a boo-boo, I can turn it over and no one will know. So I'm going to start with Pretty in Pink, and I'm using that Flowers of Beauty stamp set. The nice big flower here. That's just going in the inside bottom right corner. Now here's what I love about this set is there is a layer of flowers that you can add. I'm going to do that with Petunia Pop, but you don't have to be perfect. That's what I like about this one. You literally can just ink it up and kind of put it in the middle of this stalk, and it's thick enough that it just looks like flowers are like growing everywhere. That's what you want. Just flowers growing all over the place, okay? 1 and 2. There might be a like perfect way to line this up, but I have been quite satisfied just stamping it wherever my heart desires, and I think it looks great. Okay, so keep your Petunia Pop handy because you'll need it for a sentiment later, but we're going to go ahead and attach these into our little cards. So I love my double-sided tape. If you are somebody who loves seal or glue, please go ahead and grab that as well, but you need something flat to put this on the inside with. It's going to be interesting on my workspace. I don't usually do 2 cards at the same time. Got my nice little take your pick tool so I can get those backings off. 1 and 2. There we go. Now I'm going to put this in even before I fold it because I find these flaps can be a little tricky to work with. So here's my first one, nicely nestled in. And then I'm going to move this and do the next one. Whoop, onto the desk. There we go. So far, so good. Now I am going to do my folding. Okay, so we're going to pull this top flap down and it should line up nicely along this edge. Make sure that's nice and even, and then go ahead and score. Maybe don't have something underneath you. Score right onto your table. Okay, nice and straight. Sorry, let you refocus. And then we're going to take this panel and move it over. And again, just try to make sure it's got a nice clean line on the bottom here. If we're noticing a lot of gaps, it might mean we were a little crooked in our cutting, and that's okay. We could probably just do a little bit of trimming at the end. It's okay, don't stress. So pulling this one down and pulling that one over. See, this one's kind of crisscrossed a little. That's fine. I will fix it later. Once you get this decorated, it's a lot more forgiving. Okay, so now I've got 2 cards. I also have a pile of designer paper. So with my orange piece, I'm going to choose to do one of the panels orange, and then the opposite panel on the next card would be orange, and vice versa. So it's up to you. You can have orange on the top or purple on the top. I guess one card will have it one way and the other will have it the other way. So there's really no choosing. These guys, we are also using adhesive. They don't need to be popped up. So grab yourself a little bit of tape and just start plugging away on whichever piece you want. If you've maybe got like a clear block or something, you could use that to hold your paper down till you're ready for it, but I find it's just gonna be in your way. All right, got one panel here. I'm gonna just have the triangle itself in front of me so I'm not looking at any other parts. And I'm gonna try and give it a very subtle border, okay? So just as little of a border as I can, making sure it's as straight as it can be. There's a little gap here. Don't stress about it, okay? Once again, once you get everything attached, you're not gonna notice those as much because the orange base can just fold over itself and your tag is gonna cover some of those gaps too. Okay, got my second one. This. Go. Right. We've got top pieces. Same idea. Just make sure you do the opposite color on the card, okay? So I already have orange on this card, so I need orange on this one. Yeah. Sorry, we have some smoke still from the forest, or I don't know if they are forest fires. There's fires west of Edmonton, and my throat does not like it. I was finally getting over my dry cough. All right, here we go. See, we're back. And it doesn't really matter that I have the skinniest of little borders on this one because I've got a nice fat border on this one and they look pretty good. I do just have that little tiny triangle that I'm going to snip off so it doesn't hang out. Okay, to decorate, totally up to you what you do. If you have this bundle, I highly suggest grabbing this gorgeous little tag here. That was from the Unbounded Love set. And then in that set, you'll also find some little dies for these leaf branches. So I cut these two out of Summer Splash, and I'm going to stamp just for you in Petunia Pop. So I always start with my stamping first, because if you do a different stamp than I do, your spacing will be different. So I'm going to go as far to the right as I can. And you'll need 2 sets. And then when you're ready, you can add your little tag here. You can either use 1 mini glue dot, or you can do a little bit of glue if you're brave enough. My suggestion though is don't worry about getting glue everywhere. Just put glue in a couple major places that can hold your leaf. Okay? Don't need it everywhere. Let's try. All right, I should show you what I'm doing. Just a couple little dots. All right, now here's the fun part. We are adding the tag with dimensionals, but you don't want dimensionals all over the tag because then when you put it on, it will close your poor card and then nobody will get to see the fun little pop-out feature that you have. So we are going to be smart and we're going to just fold over this bottom tab and add a few big dimensionals. Do I have any of the really large ones? Yes. Here we go. I always work with mini dimensionals. Let's do 2 large dimensionals in this section, just near the bottom. Then when you take off the backing, fold this part down. You will be able to perfectly place your tag wherever you'd like. but you're not worrying that some dimensionals have ended up on the top panel and closed your card. See? So cute. These cards are notorious for popping open, so you could always do like a belly band or something if you prefer them not to, but once you get them in an envelope, it's just fine, and people are easily impressed as soon as they take their card out, because it will pop open and be super fun. There you go. See? You got 2 cards done in the amount of time it usually takes us to do 1. So, hold on. What are you focusing on? My water. There we go. There's card number 1. And I'll bring back card number 2. So those are 2 cards that we use the Unbounded Beauty Suite for. And then at my monthly card class this month, I also let them play with the glimmer paper. And we made this guy. And then we played with a pinwheel card. This one. So I do have a pinwheel card tutorial for you. I'm planning to do it next week. It's not this card, but it will show you how to do this pinwheel. So here are 3 card ideas for you with that Unbounded Beauty Suite. I used the same color schemes and all the different dies from the various bundles. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to answer them for you. And just keep in mind, I put all the measurements and the supply list in the description. So if you missed a step or you need to go back and recreate some more of these, it's always there for you to enjoy. Bye, guys.